Measuring the success of your branding efforts. Measuring the success of your branding efforts. Creating a strong brand is a goal of any business. It helps to create recognition, trust, and loyalty among customers, which in turn leads to increased sales and revenue. However, it's not always easy. Why to measure the success of your branding efforts? In this article, we'll explore various ways to measure the effectiveness of your branding strategy. First, it's important to define what a brand is. A brand is more than just a logo or a name. It's the perception people have of your business, the emotions they feel when they think about it, and the reputation associated with it. Building a brand takes time and effort, but it's essential for long-term success. One of the most effective ways to measure the success of your branding efforts is by tracking your brand awareness. Brand awareness measures how familiar people are with your brand. This can be read through surveys, social media metrics, web analytics, and other methods. By tracking your brand awareness over time, you can see if your branding efforts are making an impact and if people are getting to know your brand. Another way to measure branding success is to track your share of voice. Share of voice measures the amount of conversation your brand is generating compared to your competitors. This can be measured through social media mentions, press coverage, and other metrics. By tracking your share of voice, you can see if your branding efforts are helping to increase brand visibility and creating buzz around your business. One metric to measure both brand awareness and share of voice is the Net Promoter Score, NPS. NPS measures how likely people are to recommend your business to others. By tracking your NPS over time, you can see if your branding efforts are creating loyal customers who are more likely to recommend your business to others. Another way to measure the success of your branding is through customer loyalty. Loyal customers are more likely to continue doing business with you, which leads to increased revenue over time. To assure customer loyalty, you can track metrics such as repeat purchases, customer retention, and customer referrals. By tracking these metrics, you can see if your branding efforts are creating a loyal customer base. Brand equity is another important metric to track. Brand equity measures the overall value of your brand. This can be measured by looking at the financial performance of your business, including new growth, profitability, and market share. By tracking brand equity, you can see if your branding efforts are creating a valuable brand that is driving business growth. Social media is an important tool for measuring the success of your branding efforts. You can use social media metrics to track engagement, reach, and other important metrics. By tracking social media metrics, you can see if your branding efforts are resonating with your audience and creating engagement. Another way to measure the success of your branding is through customer feedback. Customer feedback can provide valuable insight into how your brand is perceived. You can use surveys, focus groups, and other methods to collect feedback from customers. By analyzing this feedback, you can see if your branding efforts are creating the desired perception among your target audience. Finally, it's important to measure the ROI of your branding efforts. ROI measures the return on investment of your branding efforts. This can be measured through metrics such as revenue growth, customer retention, and market share. By tracking the ROI of your branding efforts, you can see if your investment in branding is paying off and if you're getting a positive return on investment. It's worth noting that measuring the success of your branding efforts is not a one-time task, but a continuous process. Your branding will evolve over time, and you'll need to adjust your metrics and measurement methods accordingly. One important factor to keep in mind is to set clear goals and objectives for your branding efforts. Without defined goals, it can be challenging to measure success accurately. Make sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART. It's also essential to consider both quantitative and qualitative metrics when measuring the success of your branding efforts. Quantitative metrics provide hard numbers and data, such as sales figure.